This week we've got climate change affecting car supply, Ford 3,000 jobs to go, Volkswagen buy mines, Toyota hitches towing Audi in F1, Hino thrown out of a group in Japan, and Mercedes used tyres. Hello and welcome to this week's show. I'm Paul Callan. Climate change, which the transport industry or the automotive industry has been blamed for, or gets a lot of the blame for. Ironically, they're saying climate change is affecting the supply of cars. In China, drought and heat waves have dried up rivers that supply water for hydro dams. So therefore those dams are not able to run or running on reduced capacity, and those hydro dams produce electricity for the factories that make the cars, and they've been shutting down supply and reducing supply of electricity for plants for Volkswagen, Toyota, Tesla and SIAC have had no electricity for some time as a result of this situation. In Europe, the Rhine River, and you'd be wondering, what does it contribute to car production? Well, it's transports. They transport parts, shipments of parts into plants off the Rhine River, and because it's running so low, the boats can't travel, and that's been disrupting the supply of parts into some of the plants. And also in Germany, forest fires at near Tesla's factory and BMW's factory have been coming perilously close to their factories, and it's also the car manufacturers very high consumer of water, so those factories near the forest fires are struggling to get sufficient volumes of water to allow them to have normal production. So all these things combined are affecting the supply of cars all around the world. Ford in the US are going to lay off 3,000 white-collar workers. They say they need to cut their costs over the next 3 years by $3 billion, and most of this is stuff that we're going to see happening over the next couple of years, because what they're saying is they don't require as many people to produce cars. Now, white-collar workers, which is the office workers, but Ford are saying that the 3,000 workers will save them $450 million a year. The remainder of the outstanding costs, they're looking to reduce their warranty and reduce their recalls. So from that, you'd imagine that Ford are going to produce better products in order to reduce costs. But big reductions required there from Ford over the next couple of years. Most car manufacturers are really worried about the ability to get raw materials to produce batteries and motors for electric vehicles. While Volkswagen have been very proactive in this, so Volkswagen have gone out and bought into mining companies in Canada. Yeah, they're taking a share of the companies. That's to guarantee supply of raw materials to help them in the building of batteries and the building of motors. Canada actually possesses almost all the raw materials to produce electric vehicles, and that's the reason why Volkswagen have gone to Canada and done deals with mine owners in order to guarantee the supply of raw materials into the future. This story was, when I read it first, I thought, oh, this sounds interesting. Toyota Hichless towing. And I'm thinking, well, that's a good one. How no tow bar in order to tow. Well, it's not about towing a trailer. It's about one car connected to another. So if, for example, a group of cars were going to the same place, Toyota are developing this product or this software where the lead car can have a driver and the rear cars simply follow. They're saying it's not a lot, there's not a lot of hardware and not a lot of software required to make this happen, and they're saying that allowing one vehicle to connect to the other to follow the other would be assist in groups traveling journeys. Interesting concept, I suppose, but I can't see where a lot of effort or energy would go into it. It's still under development, but they are talking about rolling it out. I suppose saying it doesn't require, it requires minimal hardware and software. Imagine that if the vehicle is designed along the roads of autonomous, it's just another element of an autonomous vehicle, really. Again, big thumbs up. You made it to the halfway point. If you could, like, comment and subscribe, and please, if you could, press the like button for us. Thanks a lot. Okay, so as far as F1 is concerned, we spoke about Audi or Porsche or German company car manufacturers joining F1. Well, a couple of weeks ago it was announced that Porsche was taking a shareholding in Red Bull, and I assume that that was the deal, that was the entry for the Audi Volkswagen group was going to be through Porsche. But this week it's been announced that Audi themselves are getting involved in F1. They are buying out the Sauber race team, which currently goes around with Alfa Romeo branding on it. And they're joining for, again, which we knew this was the deal, they were going to join for 2026 when the new regulations come out. Their stipulation all along was, we will join provided you F1 use synthetic fuel. So that's the deal. The deal is that F1 will use synthetic fuels from 2026. 50% of the energy used by the car will come from electric. So these were the type of stipulations. The whole idea from the Audi stroke Porsche group was the idea of sustainability. Need to be seen to be using sustainable fuels. I firmly believe that, looking at all the prestige brands, the sounds coming from all those companies now is that electric is not their solution to, for example, Porsche are saying it's not the solution. They need to have engines. They need to have the sound, the vibration, the sensation that comes from an engine. And I think this is the reasoning behind the real strong push from companies like Audi, Porsche in terms of use of synthetic fuels. Interestingly, the last time Audi was involved in Grand Prix racing would have really been under the Auto Union name back in the 30s, when they used a rear-engined V16 design, and that design was drawn up by Ferdinand Porsche. The Auto Union is made up from Hawk, Wanderer, DKW and Audi. Okay, all those brands don't exist anymore, but the four rings that represent the four brands is the logo of Audi, and that's what it stands for. That's what it stood for back in the day. Hino have been expelled from a partnership grouping in Japan. It's a group of brands, Toyota, Isuzu, Suzuki, Daihatsu, were a grouping that were coming together to develop the new technology in commercial vehicles. What's been discovered is that Hino have been falsifying their emissions and fuel economy data as far back as 2003. Well, I know years ago when I used to ask why have we not got more Hinos in Ireland, or why did they ever stop selling, the story I was been sold was because they couldn't get the emissions correct in the European standards. So even by telling lies, they couldn't manage to get the emissions numbers right. But yeah, it looks like there's another bit of a scandal going on there about the numbers not being right as far as the outputs and performances of Hinos going back along almost 20 years now. On a clean story, on the other end of the spectrum, Mercedes-Benz and BASF, I think BASF is a big chemicals company in Germany. Again, this wording, the circular approach, approach to components, to plastics in particular. Well, in Mercedes, they're coming up with this circular approach to end-of-life tyres. And what they're saying is that they developed a concept now that allows them to draw the materials out of used tyres, that is allowing them to produce new plastic. This plastic is what they're calling virgin quality plastic. And I think when you looked at the idea of recycling and reusing, sometimes the problem was that you got a product, but the product was never as good as the raw material, the product made from the raw material. What Mercedes are saying is it is, and that's where this wording quality, the quality plastics, virgin quality plastics, is that it's as good as made from a fresh product made from normal natural raw materials. Part of this process will require them to use biotherm from agricultural waste. So another component has been used there that's environmentally friendly, and they're saying that's what this virgin quality plastic means, that the paintability of the plastic is as good as what was traditionally made, and also the crash safety, because that's been discovered as well, that on some of the recycled plastics, the crash safety ability of it hasn't been as good as the old school way of making the product. So it meets all the target points now to be as good as products that have gone before that were very heavily using fossil fuels. These are no longer using those fossil fuels and are yet and all reusing old tyres and are meeting all the specs and standards of the previous products. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. And again, if you please could, as Richie described, these parts are the parts where I go begging. So I'm begging for you to please, if you could, like, comment and subscribe. A couple of comments there last week from a few guys, and thanks for that. It's great to get a few words of encouragement. So like, comment and subscribe, and please, if you could, hit the like button. Great stuff. See you next week.